Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Gundam Duel video. This is our third round of our locals here at Illustrious Card Games. Now, with this being said, we are playing our final round with our buddy Tonez, who is our local Judge 1 for Gundam. He also does a One Piece as well, and I was just complimenting him on that mat because that mat looks so amazing. Being new to TCG in a sense, since I haven't played since 2012 Yu-Gi-Oh, seeing some of these mats are pretty insane, and seeing that one, I was just complimenting him on the mat that he has. Now, Tonez, this is his first the first real shot at playing with the Londo Bell deck, so he's playing as it goes. So we will be seeing potential maybe misplays. Again, I'm still learning with my MF deck. He's trying to figure out if he likes the Londo Bell deck at all. So we're gonna be trying out the deck to see how we play against each other. With that being said, like I said, this is our third and final round for our locals. I was able to get like a fun duel with another deck that I plan to do, and I will try to look in to see if I can upload it. There was a lot of interruptions. There was things going on in the stores we had to take care of. There was an ice cream truck. There's a lot of things going on that kind of make the video a lot longer. So we'll see if we can get a chance to do it. But I do have a few duels from our locals that we did at Tuesday, so we have a lot of videos that I do need to post, so we'll see if we have a chance to do that and update you guys on our current deck. Again, I'm trying to eventually get you guys to see a deck profile that I have. Again, I've been playing different variants of MF, and I kind of honing down. I got 11, so I get to choose which one I want, and I don't know what he's playing right now. I only know after, so I decided to go second and play it safe. I think a lot of times I do like to go second just to play it safe, but I prefer to go first if I can, because I like to use every single resource, especially a lot of the cost of the units pretty much cost the whole entire turn. So we decided to keep that hand. Like, a hand is really good. It has Maxter, it has Shining, I think it had Rising, it had a lot of early on here. And so when it comes to, typically I like to go first. So he showed me his hand. He's like, you won't believe my hand. I'm gonna have to mulligan this. And so he showed me what he was playing, and then I realized, oh yeah, he was playing Londo Bell, because I remember him showing the cards earlier. So I'm like, okay, now I know I have to worry about with the top end with the new Gundam and having the breach and things of that sort. With that hand of mine, I just, again, that's pretty much what you kind of want. If you had the Shining Gundam, the baby 2-1 would be nice. If you have Maxter, is what you really want to see. Potentially an Overflow as well can be very helpful to pitch and draw. Typically, if I see Maxter and Overflow or Airframe Seizure, I'm pretty confident in that hand, as long as I don't have multiple Master Gundams in my hands or anything like that. So I'm gonna probably try to cut up the video a little bit so we can kind of speed it up till you guys are not watching a 1-hour duel. All right, so let's go ahead and do so. All right, and we are back. Go ahead, me and Tonez, go ahead and pound and start off the game. We were talking a lot, just talking about other stuff going on. So we ended up speeding up the video just a little bit, just to cut to where we actually started the duel. So he goes ahead and pass, and I pass as well. Now we pass it back to him. Turn 2 for him to go ahead and draw and pass. So he decides to give it back to us. Turn 3, I go ahead and do my Maxter move. I don't have any units out on his side of the field, or he doesn't have any units on his side of the field, so I'm not going to go ahead and use it. I'm just turning over the card just so that he can read it, what it can do. Again, the set just dropped not too long ago, so we are still, like, you know, learning what cards does what. And especially with me, I have only gone to a couple locals since the set dropped. I've been playing catch up with even releases. We're done with our GD05 releases, thank God. But playing catch up with locals and play testing and Newtype challenges, which is why I'm trying to see if I can get to as many locals as that I potentially can, because I would like to get more practice in. I don't like MSA as much. It's in a necessity if I needed to, sure, but if not, that's fine. He drops the Zaku, and then he ends up dropping the one unit that you can look at the top of the deck and then see if you want to leave it there or put it in the bottom. He decides to keep it there. I wanted to play with more testing before we get to a new type, so I'm trying to play as much as we can, but I also have to be balanced with work and everything, personal life as well. So he dropped 2 units. Now we have to see what we can do with this, and I'm trying to see if I should force any interactions here specifically. So we go ahead and decide to tap for 1. Nope, we're deciding to, I think we're deciding what to do here specifically. We decided to tap for 3 and drop Rising Gundam, which we don't go ahead and rush since they have yet to attack us and turn the unit sideways. I'm not going to rush, I believe, at all, and we're going to go ahead and probably most likely pass and give it back to him, because we want to gain the benefit of Maxter. I don't want to burn my EX resource too soon and give him the advantage of taking out my units. So we're going to take it nice and slow. I know with the Londo Bell, they have a lot of lower style units, and the 2-1s, the bird mode, the 3-2, they have a lot of units that can be really low to the ground and keep themselves active and busy and taking out your opponent's shields all the way until New Gundam comes out, and then New Gundams end up taking it out with double breach pretty much. Just something to keep in mind is I know I need to control the board, so I'm gonna be very reactionary, waiting for him to do something in this scenario versus being very aggressive like I would like to be. It is his turn. He's trying to decide what to do because I didn't do anything besides drop a unit and give him a chance to kind of control the board himself. So he's trying to see what he can do. Should he go after the shield, or should he try to just flood the field? It is turn 4. There's a lot of plays that they can do. It is a blue-green Londo Bell, so it is the typical Londo Bell, just different ratios. Everyone plays their deck maybe a little bit different, but this is like my first real time playing with the Londo Bell deck. At the same time, we did play a Londo Bell deck before, but it was more of a breach variant with Wing Gundam in it with our Maddie build. But so it looks like he has also armor array and the blue one specifically, so it looks like he could potentially rest our unit and take out our unit. So we're gonna see what he does here. This match was, I want to say, almost a week ago, so I'm trying to remember what ended up occurring. So I am learning it almost as you guys are learning it as well, which is the funny part. We're just doing the voiceover raw, just as it goes. We just go ahead and do a voiceover. I didn't pre-look at it. I know what ended up happening at the end, but I ended up we're just going to go ahead and just talk it through. Again, typically we would swing our Maxter, right, just to break the base, but I'm playing very reactionary. Again, just trying to gain the benefit of using Maxter, because if I can get those special command cards into our hand, then great. So he decides to, I'm going to be aggressive. He decides to swing at the EX base and take out my EX base. He decides to go after my shield, and I hit a base. Thank goodness. So he decides to drop the bird mode and give himself a EX resource to keep him going for next turn, and ramping him up as well. Now that we have some units turned sideways, I can now potentially start being very reactionary to what he currently has. We tap for 3 to do Shining Gundam. Now unfortunately we don't have any benefit to use for Shining Gundam, and this is when we go ahead and then link it to Domo, draw, and then do the whole discarding method on the go with it. And obviously with Maxter on the field, I'm going to do the command. Now the thing about playing with MF is it feels very like Yu-Gi-Oh where you do all these special combos and moves. So I had to, bring it back and talk about each command because honestly I play the deck, but a lot of people don't play the deck, so they don't know what is happening, what effects. So I had to go back and just explain. Deploy effect I cannot use, but then we go ahead and link it with Domo draws and then discards, and if it's a special move I get to activate the special move, and then explaining that the special move now becomes a pilot that I can link onto an MF unit. We put that unit on Chippity onto our Maxter. The reason for it, I was trying to figure if I wanted to rest the other unit with Rising Gundam or not. I decided not to. Decided to hit for that. Hit the Shining, hits the base, get the 1 resource back, and then here we go ahead and smack -2 again, so I take no damage since I already -2 that one unit already. And then we go ahead and do the top 4 cards, and if it's a resource, if it's a special move, I get to add it to hand. Unfortunately, we whiff here as well: Shining, Domo, Master Asia, and a base, so we do not get any benefit from that, but at least our Maxter is still full health, so it won't be taken out right away unless he decides to destroy it. And now I just decided to tap for 1 and overflow, see if I can dig a little bit more while we can, and we draw the Maxter and Shining Finger. I believe we toss maybe the Shining Finger or a base here. I believe, yep, we discarded the base. And decided to then swing and take out the Zaku 2, the one that busts to 3 AP, so that he doesn't have an easy way to take out the base. We go ahead and pass it back to him. Now we are putting a little bit of pressure onto him with having 3 out, but as you see, he is currently 1 level above me now. Even though I went second, that ramp definitely feels different with him, having that extra resource and ramping up. So here we're going to try to see what we can do here as a reactionary. Again, I've been kind of controlling the board because I know Londo Bell seem to be very low to the ground. So we are trying to see what we can do here specifically to react to whatever he has. So I'm not trying to go too crazy now that we're going to go into turn level 6 for ourselves. We're going to just kind of take it slow and enjoy every single level and all that I can do with resources wise. I think Tonez knows he has to kind of control the board because it can go too far, allowing me to have all these units out on the field that he has to deal with later. So he decides to take out the units, and we trade with the Rising Gundam here, which only had 2 HP left. So here he has to decide what he's going to do here specifically to take out my unit. It looks like he brings out the Delta Plus and then taps into Armor Ray. Nothing to really rest again with Armor Ray's effect, but he does have the unit to be a little bit stronger here. So I'm trying to see what he decides to do here. I don't know if I think he does trade out the Shining Gundam. I think it would have been better to take out the Maxter, but again, the Shining has so much benefits of that extra resource back when you swing. So he decided to trade out the Shining Gundam so I don't also get the first strike, which again, I did have Shining Finger in my hand, so I would have gotten the first strike. So that was a good move to get rid of that. In hindsight, I think it would have loved to have kept my Delta Plus if that was me. But having the Shining Finger allowing me to get a first strike and then taking out almost for free would have been the play I would have done against him. So getting rid of my Shining is fine. I don't get no benefit. Plus the base is not strong enough. I can't beat up with Maxter. I can't swing at the base and take out that 5 HP base. I only have 4. So we're trying to see if we can get something going out on here, because we need to break that base, because we know that next turn or so when New Gundam comes out, that base would allow him to take 1 less damage. Well, reduce the damage by 1. So we're trying to figure out if we can dig a little bit further so we can try to break that base, because that is my goal. We ended up dropping the Shining Finger because I don't need it currently right now. We dropped the Maxter, and then we are deciding what to do here. Now, I don't have a target to use the command pilot, to use a command and then use it. So I'm going to have to, I believe, I decided we're going to just pay the cost for the one resource to go ahead and use the effect as a command pilot. I don't really want him to gain the benefit of having that base out. So we are going to double swing, something I try not to do, but I don't want him to get the benefit of that base. So we're going to go ahead and break that base for him. All right, perfect. And then we ended up passing it. So we have 2 maxes out. If he takes out with New Gundam, then he takes out 2 of my units. But that 6 HP base is really solid. I try running Argama with a lot of decks. A lot of decks is 1 pilot away from taking it out. With 6 HP base, it makes it a little bit more tougher, especially the breach from the New Gundam and also from Master Gundam from the mirror match. So with that being said, we're trying to see if we can kind of control it and be prepared for his New Gundam, because we know New Gundam will be coming out. So we are trying to see what we can do here specifically. And again, playing against New Gundam, I now need to know that there are 3 Londo Bells he has to get rid of, including the base, to make it work. So as you see here, he does have the New Gundam. He's just making sure he can do what he needs to do. And I'm kind of glad we did break the base, because that base would have made it a lot tougher to deal with that unit. So it looks like he goes ahead and drops 5, then taps a 1 for the link. And I asked if he has enough Londo Bell cards. And I said, yes, I know what that card does. Does he have enough? And he shows he does have enough to use its effect. So we go ahead and do the shenanigans of New Gundam. Again, glad we got rid of that base. Thank goodness. So he acts out the 3 Londos. He swings, takes out that unit, takes out 4, but he recovers 2 immediately. So he only takes 2 damage. Yep, so he takes 2 and he's good to go. And then he's letting me know that he also recovers immediately, and I said okay, awesome. And then we have the breach of 5. So now he then can obviously swing, and we were just talking about how the recovery is it right away, does it repair at the end of the turn, and it's pretty much like Dynamis, is pretty much right away that he can go ahead and heal. So I was trying to figure out, if we did a ping it for 2 with Darkness Finger, would it make a difference? So he decides to swing here specifically and then breach for 2. Perfect. So he breaches and he takes 2 more on top of that, so is at 4. I'm just letting him know that was at 4, right? So you take 2 more damage onto there. But because it can't recover immediately, I think he pretty much gets toasted. So that was the reason we were trying to figure out the discrepancy about HP and how does the recovery work and things of that sort. So so that is that. I don't remember, is the New Gundam a 7 or 6? I forget off the top of my head. Yeah, I think, was New Gundam supposed to stay alive? And actually got me thinking now. As I'm looking back at the video, he's looking at the Master Gundam. As that's happening, I'm actually literally looking up New Gundam, because again, I've only played against it a few times and I'm learning it as I go. New Gundam TCG. Let's go. No, that unit should have stayed alive, it looks like, because right, Maxer is at 4. He recovers 2, so he's only at 5. So it should have stayed alive by 1 more HP actually. But we did have Darkness Finger that we would have used, so we didn't catch that, so that is a misplay right there. Something that I have to keep an eye on as well. I was trying to figure if I wanted to burn my EX resource for the finger for the New Gundam. So that's why we're trying to figure out if I should use it or not. But again, misplays, something that we have to keep an eye on. So with that being said, now with my base gone, he's going to go ahead and drop another base. Again, have to keep in mind, if he has another New Gundam, he can destroy. So I need to keep an eye out on that as well. And so again, Tonez really first time playing with the deck. As we play at our locals, obviously like everyone else, we play at our locals to learn a little bit. And he's just reading the cards here. It is the other new Gundam, and it does gain breach, but is doing the attack. So we're just trying to figure out what to do here specifically. One thing I've learned against going against the blue side of a lot of decks is I keep forgetting about Armor Array, and Armor Array can rest my Master Gundam if I don't put the pilot underneath it. Something to keep in mind, I have to either put a pilot or put something, a command pilot or something, so that it doesn't rest with Armor Array. That's happened a couple times there. I don't think about it, that they are running blue and they have a chance to run Armor Array. And this is even against like a red-blue deck, because that's happened to me on one of my Tuesday matchups, playing against a Armor Array as well. Alright, so now he decides to go ahead and drop the other new Gundam, but this time use the blue Armor Array to rest my Master Gundam. Now with that being said, I asked him if he had any more Londo Bells, because then he can gain, you know, multiple swings here in a sense. So he was just letting me know that, you know, he wanted to rest it. He needs to get rid of it. He knows that Master Gundam can be a pain in the butt. And he was just trying to see if that was the best move for him. So with Londo Bell, I asked how many Londo Bells you have in there, and it was just the 2. So I said, okay, best. So you can use his effect to swing twice, but he goes ahead and swings. He takes out 5. Decided to tap 1 to do Master Gundam to ping for 2 on the unit. And since I have the unit Master Gundam, I do draw 1. So he does take 2 damage on top of that. Just letting him know that it will die because I'm doing that, and letting him know that when Master Gundam is on the field, I do draw. And I decided to double ping on here to draw again. I'm trying to get the actual initial draw because of Master Gundam. So here, pinging it for Tice, it dies, obviously, but I'm getting 2 resources out of it. Well, 2 cards in a sense back. So, it was, you know, a 1-for-1. Because I don't think I had another Master Gundam in my hand. Yeah, I didn't have another Master Gundam in my hand. So I knew I had to burn my Darkness Fingers so I can draw a little bit out of the deck. So that's one of the reasons I do love Darkness Finger with Master Gundam, is you can activate it during your opponent's turn and draw one. So I'm using Shining Gundam's effect. I said this time that I am using his effect on deploy, manage 2 units, and get a special move back to my hand. I'm trying to decide if I want to do Shining Finger or if I want to do a Darkness to ping a little bit more. I'm trying to decide what I want here specifically, or do this as well, because we might have Maxer coming up, and then we have that card to use. So here we go ahead and tap for 1 and go ahead and tap for 2, drop the Maxter, tap the 1 to use Domo's effect. Domo effect then goes off. I draw to discard. I do discard that unit, but then I realize, is that the one I want to do? Because I won't be able to actually activate it since he doesn't have anything on the field. And I'm just reading the card. Can I use this without needing? I'm like, nope, I can't. I have to have something out on the field for me to actually use it. So I decided to actually drop my super mode, because I can't use my the Cyclone Punch pilot Chibbity to be put on, because I need to have that. I'm just trying to decide, was that still the best move? Because I just got rid of 2 of his new Gundams. He would have to have another Link or another new Link. So I'm trying to see if I want to push for game or not. With having the super mode could suppress and do a lot more damage. So we decided to, yes, we're going to pitch for that. Decided to break, get my resource back, tap for 1, and I'm going to get the base. And then I believe I ended up tapping for 1 just for the command pilot, because I couldn't use it the way I wanted to. So we go ahead and just link to rush, activate, and swing. We're trying to apply a little bit of pressure back, since he was able to do a few breaches on. And again, by having that 6 HP base made it really tough, well, tougher to deal with, having to have 2 breaches hit it to get rid of it because of it only breaching for 5. That's one of the reasons why I do like the factory 6 HP base more than the Argama, because anything can take it out, Argama. But in this scenario, he had to waste that, so he decided to, on his turn, do show of resolve here, and I think he drew into a potentially another show. No, he decides to do the one unit that looks at the top of the card of the deck, keep it there, or put it in the bottom. He decides to put it in the bottom, and I think he decides to I'm pretty sure he decides to drop maybe another. Does he have another show? Let's see what he has. Again, he has to. I don't have enough for lethal, unless I have master. I don't have another leaf for lethal, and I just dropped my super mode, so I don't have suppression. So he taps for 3, drops another show of resolve. So it was another show. He was just telling me that with the show that he got another show, and now he's being forced to use the other show now because he's not getting what he needs potentially in the deck. So something that can happen in any deck. Once you start to lose some of that momentum, trying to get back some of that momentum, you do need to dig really far. So he was able to do 2 shows. He decides to drop the 2/1 we need to keep some board presence here specifically. And now it is our turn. Draw for resource, draw for turn, and reset all our units into the active mode. Now we're trying to figure out what we can do here specifically. So I think I have to start pushing in for I wouldn't say lethal yet, but I want to make it where I have it lethal. So I decided to put a unit out because if I decide to use one of the effects, I'll have a way to potentially put a command pilot on Shining Gundam or something. So I decided to put that out right away to see what I can potentially do. And I'm deciding, I think before we start doing anything else, I think we're going to have to just swing and see what we can get here before we start to ping or do anything else. So here I'm trying to decide because that double show of resolve could have gotten him some really good cards that he may be able to use next turn. So I'm trying to see. I don't have a lot of cards left in me. I have 3 cards, and as you see, I have nothing besides a chimney pilot, a darkness finger, and I believe shining finger. So I'm really trying to figure out what I need to do here because I don't have much more units at the current moment in time. One of the things about the deck is you can run through your units and there's no way to recycle your units now. Something we're keeping in mind, trying to figure out what we're going to do here specifically. I asked him how many Londo Bell units he has in his graveyard, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he would need to have multiple ways to kind of go through it. So I'm like, you know what, we're just gonna have to push because he could potentially have New Gundam, and that double breach can really put in for game and potentially take me out. So it's swing, and then I swing, get my resource back. That was another reason why I wanted to play the unit. He got armor array, so I'm like, crap, I don't want to see that. And obviously, Tonez wants to see that because it's something that he could potentially use. And now we're trying to figure out what we can do here specifically. So I think we ended up passing here. I kept my shining finger and also my darkness finger so I can use it to react to something that he can potentially do. And one of the things that I need to also learn is that you can use shining finger as a way to counter another one of his swings. So I think it's one of these plays comes up. I don't know if it's this game or another game where I learned, you know what, I should have did a shining finger to rest the other unit that was active so that he wouldn't be able to keep pushing in. So here now we're going to see what Tonez can do to put a little bit of pressure back onto me. Alright, so now he taps for 4 and brings out the new Gundam. And now he has the pilot to go ahead and do, and now that would actually do a breach. And he's letting me know that he will be able to breach with this unit. And he also gets the EX. I was like, okay, good to know. So he's going to go ahead and swing, take out my unit. And now this is why, again, I kept the darkness finger, because now I'm able to take out the unit as well so it doesn't stay alive. So I'm letting him know it dies, and then he can go ahead and breach for 3. But at least now that unit is out on the field, which again helps me out because I know that he didn't have the bigger new LR Gundam. So with that being said, taking out that unit makes it a lot more easier for us to worry about handling it. And this is where we said I wish I would have used my shining finger on that action effect, because we could have saved our Maxter Gundam, because the other unit is a 2-2 and it wouldn't have not taken out our Maxter. So yes, this was the play where I was like, oh, I should have realized that on action I should have actually activated on top of the darkness finger also shining finger to stop that unit from taking out my Maxter Gundam and giving me the benefit of having that special move added to my hand. Not that we need more special moves to our hand, but again, the easy benefit of having him slow down with shining finger. So now he has another 2-1 weenie here, giving him more Londo Bell cards. Again, this is when we start to realize we do need to make sure we get a link soon, because we don't want to see another new Gundam and that effect goes off. So we have, I think that's the Rageous one, where on Destroy you get to search. So I decided to swing, see what he has, and he has nothing there. And I believe we just drew into the link. Yes, we did. We drew into the link, rest link, and then swing for a game. And that was GG's for Londo Bell. I said, I realized I should have misplayed. I should have used my shining finger to stop the other unit, and then I would have been able to win without needing the link. But we just drew the unit that we needed to get the link, which was really awesome. Again, really fun to play with our buddy Tonez. Really good person, really good player, really good judge, and a good person to talk to as well. Appreciate the duel. That was our final round for this, and this was the day after the crazy storm, so we were just figuring out if we had any emergency calls that we had to take care of. But that was pretty much it. I'll catch you guys for another video. Peace.